Good morning. If you're wondering what's happening today on the national calendar, then you've come to the right place. Hi, I'm your host CK, and this is CK's Antics. This segment is all about national holidays. So, we're still continuing down the list of the 41-month-long celebrations in October. So, we have another 6 to cover today. If you've enjoyed these videos, please remember to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. It'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, what is happening today? The 3rd of October, 2020. So here are your month-long celebrations. We've got Healthy Lung Month, which is a good thing to have. Italian American Heritage Month, another wonderful thing to celebrate. National ADHD Awareness Month, certainly something we all need to be aware of. National Book Month, which I really like. National Bullying Prevention Month, which is sad that we have to have, but it's a good thing that we are shedding light on bullying and how we can go about preventing it. And then finally, National Caramel or Caramel, depending on how you pronounce it, month. So let's get started. National or Healthy Lung Month, and I've got a cool little prop for you. This are happy, healthy lungs. These are little plushies. This is from the Awkward Yeti collection. Nick Schultz is the cartoon creator, artist, but they sell these cool little things, and I love them. And I love the Awkward Yeti. This is another one of his products. By the way, this is not an advertisement. I do not get paid for this, but I found it unique. And if you're wondering why I have a set of plushie lungs, it's because I find them hilarious. And, well, that's really it. I find them hilarious. And they have a good use. I can use them right now for this. All right, let's get into the lung facts. First up, the amount of air we breathe on a daily basis is a lot. We breathe 25,000 times a day, according to the National Institute for Health. Also, animal lungs are a little bit different. If you have a spine, a vertebrae, basically, you'll have 2 lungs. If you don't have a spine, apparently you don't have 2 lungs. So I found that a little bit interesting. Also, hopefully this fact that you can get by with only 1 lung obviously makes sense, and hopefully you know that. However, the not recommended is my own recommendation. I would not recommend just going about life with 1 lung. If you have to, obviously, don't worry, you can survive and live a rather normal life. Also, lungs are different sizes. Your heart actually kind of prevents the left lung from being as large as the right. But it's still okay. We're all alive and well. We're all breathing. So clearly it's worked for millions or billions of years, right? Also, lungs float. Human lungs have a rare quality that allows them to float. And it's the only organ that apparently can do so. Now, I'm not really sure if I would consider this a rare quality. To me, a rare quality is like something useful, something good. I don't know of many people out there roaming about with their lungs just like open outside of their cavity of their body. I'm not really sure what rare quality this is good for. But maybe from an autopsy standpoint, it's good. It's a quality that your lungs can float in water. But from a living standpoint, I'm not necessarily sure I would consider that a quality, but I digress. So, what's next? Okay, Italian Heritage American Month. I like this, not only from a historical standpoint, because this more likely means we're going to talk about food. Yes, I like food. Do you like food? All right, so Italian Americans, the name is actually, Americans is actually an Italian-inspired name, which I thought was pretty interesting. Amerigo Vespucci, hopefully I said that correct, who explored the east coast of South America, is the source of the name for America. Also, Christopher Columbus is an Italian explorer who obviously discovered the New World, one of these places being the Americas, or at least the North American area. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't know why I couldn't remember the fact that he is Italian. For some reason, I thought he was English, but no, he's not. He's Italian. And Italian explorer Giovanni de Verrazzano was the first European to map the East Coast. That was pretty cool. I thought that was an interesting fact. Declaration of Independence actually has some Italian inspiration. The words "all men are by nature equally free and independent" was actually written by an Italian, Filippo Mazzai, who apparently was good friends with Thomas Jefferson. Who knew? And then finally, the Pope helped Italian immigrants. He assisted immigrants in the United States. Pope Leo the 13th. He sent priests and nuns over here. And Sister Francesca Cabrini founded several schools, hospitals, and orphanages. So I thought that's kind of neat. And next we have ADHD Awareness Month. Things that I learned are there are actually 3 subtypes of ADHD. You have a combined type, ADHD predominantly in attentive type, and predominantly hyperactive impulsive type. And it's interesting because hyperactive is already in the name, so I'm wondering if you're like super hyperactive, if you have the predominantly hyperactive impulsive type of ADHD. Also, nearly 10% of children are diagnosed with ADHD, and 4% of adults are diagnosed with ADHD, or will exhibit ADHD-like symptoms or ADHD symptoms. And it is a brain disorder that can be genetic, which I didn't know. Thought that was interesting as well. What do you think? And it is National Book Month. I love this month, and I have decided that I am going to get through 3 books this month, either read or listened to, but that's my goal, 3 books this month. And the first book up is this one called T-AI. It's Humanity's Countdown to Artificial Intelligence and the New Pursuit of Global Power by Michael Cannon. So that's the book that I'm going to be reading this month. One of the books that I'm going to be reading this month. So I'm going to start this today. It just came in the mail. I ordered it yesterday, actually. Technically yesterday. I was up late at night, so it's kind of like same-day delivery, I think. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to this. So I will definitely let you know how it is. If you want to know, I certainly will let you know. But that's going to be my first book up, and I'm going to start it today. So, also on the timeline of National Book Month, starting in 1914. Wow, little number dyslexia there. Starting in 1439, printing press sparks a revolution, with Johannes Gutenberg, the creator of the printing press. And then 1817, publishers kind of make their debut on the scene. Harper's Brothers and Palmer Putnam, John Wiley are major publishing houses, and primarily the publishing industry is in New York City, which is something I didn't know, but I guess now I guess I just didn't really put two and two together that most of the publishing houses are actually in New York City. And then in 1950, the National Book Awards are founded, and this honors the country's top authors each year. And then finally, in October of 2003, this month was established. And if you do want to participate in National Book Month, feel free to use the hashtag National Book Month on your social media posts. And now into bullying. This is a Bully Awareness Month. And nearly 20% of high school students have reported being bullied. 15% of those 15% have reported being cyberbullied. Obviously, we need to do something about this, and positive change comes as we begin to emphasize respect and inclusion on campuses across the country. And I don't think this is, even though this is specific to high schools, I think in general, not just schools and bullying to kids, but I think bullying just across the world, because of the social media and having instant information literally at the tips of our fingers, I think it's important that we also consider this positive change of an inclusive atmosphere in our own posts and how we go about. Because I see adults bullying other adults. We see it every day, especially on the internet, especially Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. Now, Instagram, I guess Instagram, a lot of it's more body shaming or stuff like that, right? But the dialogue back and forth, for sure you get, or just, in general, social media is a huge one, or cyberbullying. I think that's a big one. And even when you see people just recording videos of people getting picked on and no one steps in, they just are being the, I guess, innocent recording bystander. And I think we need to change that. We need to, step in. If you see something wrong, say something. That's really about it. Stand up for other people. Some people may not be able to stand up for themselves. And if you have the ability to do so, please do so. But that's what I'll say about bullying. Oh, and the reason why I used orange is because that is the color associated with Bully Prevention Month. And finally, our last month-long celebration we're going to cover today is National Caramel Month. And here's some interesting timelines about caramel. So 1000 AD, caramel was first discovered. And it looks like the ancient Arabs started making it first. Interesting. And 1650s, there was evidence that American settlers were making hard candy, which they say paved the way for caramel. In 1886, Milton S. Hershey established Lancaster Caramel Company, and he started shipping caramel all over the U.S. And guess what? Hershey actually started selling caramel before he got into chocolate. I did not know that. Hershey, for me, has always been associated with chocolate, and I've never associated Hershey with caramel. Have you? Did you know that? Curious to know? Let me know in the comments below. And then we have in the 50s, Dan Walker was credited with creating the caramel apple. Way to go, Dan Walker. I applaud your invention. And then finally, M&M's released the caramel M&M in May of 2017. And here are some more interesting facts about caramel. It's a candy staple for many immigrants because it was apparently cheap. The ingredients that went in to making it were cheap. And we already discussed the Hershey piece. Oh yeah, and you can also celebrate Caramel Day in April. Yes, April. So you don't just have to worry about celebrating it all month long. You have another opportunity to celebrate it in April. And the English word for caramel is simply derived from a French and Spanish word, caramello. And finally, the cooking process for caramel candies and caramels used for covering the apples is different. And that are all the interesting facts that I have to tell you about caramel. And those are all the facts or holidays that are celebrated for the entire month of October. And next, let's get into what's happening today. So, today is October 3rd, and we've got Mean Girls Day, National Boyfriend Day, National Kevin Day, and National Poetry Day. So, Mean Girls. This is literally all about the movie Mean Girls. I don't remember ever watching it, and if I did, clearly it did not make any impression on me whatsoever. So the whole reason why Mean Day or Mean Girls Day is today is apparently in the movie the main actor, played by Lindsay Lohan, has a line where she responds to the question of what day it is, and she says October 3rd. And apparently now that makes today, October 3rd, Mean Girls Day. Okay, all right. They offered they being the national holiday calendar where I get these cool, interesting facts, say some ways to celebrate today are try the worn out. They said go in to your closet, pick up some old clothes, try something you may have had worn in high school or whatever, and yeah. See if it, one, still fits, two, do you still look the same, or do you cringe when you think about the clothes you wore in high school? For me, I'm many years removed from high school, but I will say this, I do cringe sometimes when I go back and look at some of the high school photos and just the trends in general of what we wore. Though for me, I was never big into being like dressing, I guess, like the popular group. It was never my thing. I grew up 80s into the 90s, and at one point in time, like rolling your jeans was a thing. And I hated it. I literally hated it. I thought it was the stupidest thing ever. And my friends hated like being around me because apparently like rolling your jeans was like the cool thing to do. And I was like, no, this is stupid. I think it looks stupid. My friends would literally just roll my jeans for me. They're like, no, Cassandra, you have to wear it this way. And I'm like, oh, this is stupid. I think it's stupid. I don't understand it, but I digress. Let's get on to other activities you can do to celebrate Mean Girls Day. Speak fetch. Apparently, again, in the movie, fetch was the word they used. Like, fetch me that book, fetch me my hairbrush, whatever. So they say, challenge yourself to use fetch several times throughout the day when asking to have something handed to you or anything like that. Okay, whatever. And finally, paint your nose red. Eyebrows blue. Painting is an art, so go ahead. You are a canvas, paint away. I don't understand any of these things because, like I said, I never watched Mean Girls. Or at least if I did, I don't remember. But okay, whatever. If you've watched Mean Girls and you're like, oh yeah, this totally makes sense, please let me know. Maybe give me a little bit more background explanation because I seriously have no idea what this is about. But whatever. If you want to celebrate, go celebrate. Be you. I'm not going to stop you. All right. It's also National Boyfriend Day. 59% of the people say online dating is a great way to meet people. How about you? What do you think? Online dating, yay or nay? I've tried it. I don't know. It's good. I know people that have had success with online dating. I also know people who have not, and if anything, have horror stories from the whole online dating experience. But it clearly is popular looking at the number of apps out there that are dating related. So, hey, go do it. Give it a shot. Give it a try. Why not? You never know who you might meet. And then also 56% of men want to discuss marriage after 6 months. Seriously? I am very surprised by this. So guys, you got to let me know. Is this true or not? And 83% of the men do prefer to make the first move. And I totally see that. Totally get it. And also, they also want to say that even though it is called National Boyfriend Month, it's not about just the romantic relationship. This is also about the platonic. So go ahead, celebrate your bro and your bromance. So, yeah. Anyways, I digress. And it is National Kevin Day. If you don't know, one of the Kevins that I like is right there. That's not my dog. My dog's not named Kevin, but the minion, Kevin. I think that's the Kevin. I don't know. I know one of the minions is actually named Kevin. So there. That's why I put the picture up there. But that's also my dog. But my dog is not named Kevin. My dog is named Kuzco. From The Emperor's New Groove, the character Kuzco. Anyways, the first Kevin recorded that they know of was Saint Kevin, and this was in the 6th century and from Ireland. Not a bad way to start the history of a name. I mean, to be called Saint, I think that's pretty good. For me, my name is actually Cassandra, and though my parents chose the Spanish spelling because I am from Colombia, a lot of people don't realize that Spanish spelled as one S. The Greek version of Cassandra is 2 S's, but people just assume that they're like, oh, you're named after the Greek goddess. And she doesn't have really such a good type reputation. But anyways, I digress. So Kevin started off pretty good. And here are some other things to love about Kevin. It's the 58th most popular name in the world, or in the U.S. right now. All right. Also, there are 1,531,990 Kevins residing somewhere in the U.S. I don't know at what time this number was pulled, because who knows? There might be more, there might be less. But still, that's a lot of Kevins. And the nice thing is Kevin rhymes with a lot of things. And finally, it is Gaelic, which means handsome by birth. Now, again, that's a pretty cool name to have with a translation like that. And the fact that the very first Kevin ever recorded was a saint. I think if you're looking for a boy's name, Kevin is a good choice. All right. And it is National Poetry Day. Who doesn't like poetry? Anyone? Well, I do enjoy poetry. Not all poetry, but I definitely enjoy listening to like the spoken word when people do poetry. I really like that. And there are certain poems that I really enjoy. I prefer shorter ones. I don't like long poems. I have a hard time really sticking with it. I think poems should be kind of short and compact. But people do like long stanzas. So here are some other interesting things about National Poetry Day. In 2100 BC, the epic Gilgamesh was the first written poem. Interesting. Apparently, Sumerian poems. It's a series of Sumerian poems, and it has the distinction of being the first written poem for the world. In the 11th century, the ancient tale of Beowulf. I really enjoyed Beowulf. I actually had, in high school, I took a like English literature, like AP course, and Beowulf was one of the things that we had to read, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact I had an amazing teacher that really made, you know, kind of getting into the nitty gritty and analyzing of Beowulf just very fun and interesting. And it is an Old English poem with 3,200 alliterative lines. And then 1956, Allen Ginsberg recited Howl in San Francisco, which revolutionized the spoken word all over the world. In 1994, this day, National Poetry Day, was created, which I thought cool. And then finally, the first female UK poet laureate was appointed, Carol Ann Duffy, in 2009. Pretty neat. A little more on poetry, though. Some reasons to love poetry that are not rhyming reasons. So first up, we've got the all-time best-selling poets. And of the three, I know one. I don't know any of the others. Do you? Shakespeare, I think pretty much everyone knows Shakespeare. Lao Tzu and Khalil Gibran, never heard of them. Never heard of them. So they may be the best-selling poets, but I don't know who... I don't know. I don't know how you can be a best-selling poet and I've never heard of them. Maybe I've heard of their stuff and I just didn't realize that they were the authors. I don't know. And then I like this guy, John Dryden, 17th century poet, because he likes to write his poems with a preposition at the very end of the sentence, which a lot of English teachers will tell you that's a no-no. I like that. I like ending sentences on a preposition. I got in trouble for that a lot in high school. English and sentence structure and all those rules, I think, are just silly. Anyways, Sir Walter Scott penned Marmion, which apparently is a famous poem. Never heard of it. Not sure how famous it is. While riding a horse. So I actually looked up the poem. It's quite long, and I'm curious to know, like, did he have someone else? Like, if he penned this while riding a horse, that's pretty impressive, because it's a very lengthy poem, by the way. And yeah, so number 4, metrophobia is the fear of poetry, while metromania is a compulsive need to write poetry. Okay, let's start with the first one, metrophobia. Who is afraid of poems? Seriously? Like, why would you be afraid of poems? Do you like? I don't. Is it the like the pausing, the rhyming? I don't know. That's mind-boggling to me that there are people that have a fear of poems or a fear of poetry. Yeah. And then Metromania. I think if you're a musical like artist, especially a singer, or I should say songwriter, whether you sing and write or if you're just a songwriter, I think you would probably be a Metromania because I'm pretty sure you're constantly writing stuff. And so you probably have Metromania. And because really songs are, sorry, in and itself poetry. Give me a second. All right. The world's longest poem is the Mahabharata. Hopefully I said that right. Of India, which contains 1.8 million words. That's crazy. And the only thing I can think of is does it even make sense? Because like if I think about when you start talking about something and then you just start rambling and rambling and rambling and you've totally forgotten your point, but now you were like, oh crap, I totally forgot what I was talking about. And you just think, well, if I continue talking, I think I'll eventually stumble back on the whole point that I started with in the beginning and I'll get us back on track. So you just keep rambling. That's the only way I could think that this probably reads. Because that's really, really ridiculously long. And I don't know how you manage to like keep track of what it is you're writing. I think it's just like I'm just rambling on and on, and whether or not all this really makes sense doesn't matter because I'm just going to continue writing, make things rhyming and whatnot, and when I come to the end, maybe I'll come back to the main point, maybe I won't, but you know what, I've gone on long enough by now, people maybe may not notice. That's what I think. So, anyways, yeah. That's all I have for today. And hopefully you enjoyed that. It was a little bit long, but I thought it was quite entertaining. And I look forward to any of your comments. And don't forget, if you like these videos, make sure you subscribe, ring the bell so you can get more and you don't miss any of these daily videos. And also today I'll be going live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're doing some reviews, talking about the upcoming week's holidays that I'm really excited about celebrating. And just having some fun conversations. So please feel free to stop by and catch me tonight on my live. And with that, I wish you all a fond farewell and a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.